On the 26th of July 2024, my name is Patricia Lukoma. Thank you so much for joining us. And we do have Namiyomba there on sign language. Straight away into the bulletin, His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni has eulogized a former member of parliament for Moroto municipality, and he's none other than the late Simon Peter Aleper, who perished in a road accident earlier this week. Mr. Museveni referred to him as a pro-people and pro-development young patriot who has run his short race very well. The president was Friday afternoon at the NRM Secretariat to join party leaders to mourn Honorable Aleper, who at the time of his death was serving as the NRM National Vice Chairperson for Karamoja region.
Members of the NRM party, mainly top leaders, started making their way to the Secretariat by 8 a.m. on Friday, 26th July 2024. Moments later, mourners were joined by the party chairperson, also President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni. The president went straight to lay the wreath of flowers on the casket containing the body of the late Aleper and also signed in the condolence book.
As you can still see on your screens,
the short speeches were led by those of Karamoja Parliamentary caucus.
We really want to appeal to you in your heart of hearts, and you have been supporting the region, giving young people some support through State House, and that's why we have now over 45 doctors. Please, Your Excellency, help this family.
This was followed by the family members.
Honorable Aleper Simon Peter is a self-made man in a way that he lost his parents when he was still young, but struggled through education. His father was polygamous.
His death is a bullet to my family. He has been a father, a rock.
The widow thanked the president for pledging to support the family.
The other day when you called me, I was broken down. But after you told me you'll support to educate my children, I stopped crying. That's why I'm able to stand here today.
On behalf of the NRM Secretariat, Right Honorable Richard Odong eulogized the late as one who has greatly served his country and party.
Out of the 6 regional vice chairpersons, we are now left with 4. And 2 who have passed on are from northern Uganda. And to us, his death politically is a very big blow.
Dr. Abatesachi Alan Paul, a pathologist from Lago National Referral Hospital, briefed mourners on the possible cause of the late Aleper's death.
When we examined him, we found that he had scratch marks on the right shoulder, on the right arm. The right eye was swollen.
Alhaji Moses Chigongo, the first national vice chairperson of the NRM, invited the president to address the mourners.
What really caused this so unnecessary death? Just a young person, very active, very Christian. Now he dies. It's so sad.
The president took a sweep at members of parliament who always speak recklessly, especially in times of mourning, singling out the Kalungu West legislator Joseph Sewungu Konzaga.
There's a joker called Sewungu. I think he was called Sewungu. He was speaking. Yeah, it's called Sewungu. I know them from intelligence, from those who are not so useful. I always follow them up. Now he was saying that because there are 2 lanes, one lane, that's why we have accidents. That we should go to 4 lanes. Just like children. You see adults talking like children.
Museveni lauded the late Aleper for being a hard-working person who managed to pull himself from grass to grace.
First of all, he was an orphan. He managed to study. When 40 others from the same polygamist, 39 others never made it. That one I didn't know. How did he manage? Who paid for him? you, the others, learn from him. How did this orphan manage?
President Museveni noted that Karamoja is now at a takeoff stage and reaffirmed that the government will support the family on top of securing a job for the widow and a house for the family.
We shall pay for the children. Those children will study. We shall pay for them until they finish their education. If my staff, my State House control is here to make sure that the Aleper's family get a Kasumora house in Kampala here.
Born in 1974, Aleper is to be laid to rest on 30th July 2024 in Napaka District. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Robert Onyango. President Yoweri Museveni has met and held discussions with a team from Standard Chartered Bank Uganda and UK at State House Entebbe. During the meeting, President Museveni and the delegation members discussed how well projects can be financed in the country. The president thanked the bank for supporting infrastructure in the country, but also requested them to put emphasis on the issue of wealth creation because it will expand production. President Museveni also informed the delegation that Uganda is now targeting an economy of $500 billion in the near future. Furthermore, President Museveni requested the delegation to bring in more foreign investors to Uganda to invest in various sectors of the economy. Farouk Mohammed, the managing director of Global Head Structured Export Finance at Standard Bank, thanked the president for creating an enabling environment that has allowed them to finance various projects in the country. President Yoweri Museveni has appointed Alex Kakoza as the caretaker in the office of the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. In a phone interview with the Secretary to Cabinet, Lucy Nachobe, the appointment takes effect immediately. The position fell vacant after the holder, Geraldine Sali, was arrested and charged on July 18, 2024 before the Anti-Corruption Court over allegations of causing financial loss and conspiring with members of Parliament to steal the compensation funds to the deaf and cooperative unions.
Has continued to haunt Geraldine Sali, who is currently in prison over charges of financial loss and conspiring with members of Parliament to steal compensation funds to the defunct cooperative unions. Sali was in the position of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives until the wrath of the law called her offside on corruption saga. As Geraldine Sali continues to prove her innocence in the Anti-Corruption Court, President Yoweri Museveni has appointed Alex Kakoza as a caretaker in the office. Kakoza, who is the current Principal Private Secretary to the Vice President, is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Trade until the appointing authority clears the next move. The Secretary to the Cabinet, Lucy Nachobe, confirmed the appointment.
Following the issues that Geraldine Sali is involved in, she has been taken to court and charged.
Yes.
The law requires that we go ahead and interdict her. And therefore, when we interdict her, there is a gap that is created. In the absence of her, that means the Ministry of Trade has no accounting officer.
Okay.
And the ministry without accounting officer cannot run. So, as a stopgap, I appointed the Kakoza to So he's right now the ministry. PPS to the Vice President, but caretaking the Ministry of Trade, and we see how the progress with Sali's case.
Okay. So, Madam, when you say caretaking, what is the legality and how long do you think he will be acting as a caretaker to the ministry?
The rent that he would get the appointing authority, who is the president. Because the contract is about to expire. So should it expire and the president feels does not want to wait for the court process, he appoint a substantive PA.
Okay.
But if the president wants to wait for the court process, he can wait. Then he probably can consider her for employment again.
Okay. In the recent report of Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Tourism, the investigations pinned the Minister of Trade for adjustments in the amount paid to the defunct cooperatives after the results showed that the Minister of Trade paid amount over and above the appropriated sum by Parliament. The matter has since witnessed Geraldine Sally, some members of Parliament, including Mawanda Michael and Paula Kamba, and some lawyers being arrested and charged before the Anti-Corruption Court. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Now, thank you very much there, Daniel Mugoya. Now, Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Taiwo has expressed a need for people to use government wealth programs like parish development model to not only alleviate poverty but also ensure food security. While officiating the second National Children's Parliament, Taiwo promised the children that he will push to see that Parliament debates on the food and nutrition bill as the children demanded.
Pupils and students from some primary and secondary schools from Kampala have converged at Parliament Conference Hall to participate in the second National Children's Parliament hosted by the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Children. These have exhibited skills acquired in presiding over Parliament as Speaker of Parliament, plus debating issues. The children centered their debate on hunger and malnutrition.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member from the opposition side.
Children may not be able to participate very well in class if not fed well. If lunch, for example, delays, children may not be able to think and may start thinking of food instead of listening to the teacher teaching them.
While officiating the function, Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Taiwo said government put in place programs like parish development model with the aim of socio-economic transformation. He, however, cautions people, especially children, against unhealthy living.
Demanded it, but they want their food and nutrition bill debated. And I hope once we are debating it, some of you will come to the Parliament and see. I also hope that we can have school feeding guidelines, which are very, very critical. Whether it means government chipping in, we need it to come in and we give these people a priority.
State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balam Barugahara, explains initiatives put in place by government to address malnutrition in children.
Exhibiting the nutritional deficiency among children, undernutrition remains a critical concern leading to the diseases like marasmus, rickets, and many others. The nutritional policy provides framework for addressing issues such as gaps persist due to poverty, culture, taboos, and inadequate policy implementation.
During their debate, the children expressed concern over parents' ignorance on what to feed their children, hence spiraling cases of obesity in children.
Other parents are ignorant. They do not know that what they are doing could be harmful. And that's why the government comes in, to be able to create regulations, especially on issues of junk food.
Makoha Margaret is the chairperson Uganda Parliamentary Forum for Children.
How can we help school programs, having programs of school feeding? Because now when we have these young people at school with no food, no nothing, it's like the policy is very silent. We are not doing enough to help these younger people. So
UNICEF is one of the organizations with a mandate to ensure children have optimal diets.
He talked about the food and nutrition bill. This is a call for the parliamentarians to ensure that it is expedited, because under this bill, we have quite a number of regulations that need to be anchored. And without the bill, we cannot regulate the food environment in schools, where we heard that there's a lot of unhealthy food. The children talked about gorillas, they talked about kick snacks.
The second National Children's Parliament has been held under the theme, A Call to End Child Hunger and Malnutrition. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Now, the mover of the motion to impeach 4 parliamentary benchmark commissioners, Lumiaga County Legislator Theodore Sechikowa, says they have attained a number of signatures needed to move their motion forward and are to write a notice to the Speaker of Parliament through the Clerk to Parliament requesting to put the motion on the order paper. Arua-seated Division Legislator Jackson Atima has appended his signature to make the required number of 176 signatures.
So being one of the members of parliament for one arm of government, that is the legislature, as a member of parliament, where our roles, one of our roles in the constitution is well stipulated that we are supposed to do oversight role. Oversight starts with us, so that when we get out there, it becomes easier. The ones we are doing oversight about can receive us with the dignity. If we become now the point of suspicion, then it becomes very difficult for us to come to any institution that we are doing oversight. We have come here to do ABCD. One of our roles as members of parliament, which is oversight, will die. Then already the one arm of government, that one oven, has collapsed.
Roadblocks before you reach parliament, in the name of corruption. So I thank you, Honorable, for standing up and for being counted and for always being there with us in this fight. I welcome you to address the country.
Thank you, dear country.
Of 1,000 miles journey. And this victory is not only for members of parliament, but it's even a victory for those who elected us to represent them in parliament. There are so many members who shied away. They thought that, in the beginning, they thought that Honorable Sechikowa would not finish up with what he had started. I was among those members. I told him, frankly, that I never believed in him as an individual, but I believed in the cause he was leading. Parliament will appreciate, even those who never appended their signatures, because this is non-partisan. And as a member of parliament, I think Honorable Sechikowa and others, we need to appreciate you for the work you started on. We are doubting. Sign that indicates that all people in this parliament, regardless of their political affiliations, they are against corruption. We are not witch-hunting individuals. No, we are looking for accountability, because
A permanent secretary of Ministry ICT and National Guidance, Sajid Amina Zawede, has pledged the ministry and government support to create an enabling environment for innovators. While presiding over the Uganda-Japan Connect project, Ms. Zawede commended the collaboration between Uganda and Japan.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, Hajat Amina Zawede, has encouraged the public to take advantage of ICT to build capacity, improve service delivery, and ensure digital skilling.
Our young people's talent to be able to match the global requirements. And what are some of these global requirements? There are certain, in the IT space, you have to, for example, have certifications. If you, like the accountants have ACCA, if you have an ACCA certification today for accountants, you can work anywhere in the world. So that is what we are trying to do, make our young people globally competitive so that they can be taken up by any market, and that is one of the objectives of this project.
Japan representatives say that the UJ Connect has ensured steady progress in promoting and strengthening technology-driven entrepreneurship in Uganda.
Output 2 is human resource development. Kobe Institute of Communication send the lecturer to UICT here and provide training of trainers to UICT. And UICT lecturers learn how to train, how to provide practical training to students, and the UICT will utilize the experience and utilize that experience for actual training to students.
UJ Connect ICT Industry Promotion Project started in 2023 and is to last for 4 years, and it aims at promoting policy support, human resource development, business matching and entrepreneurship. Winnie Ainembabazi Katwire, Bakabulindi Mike for UBC.
Now, State Minister for Primary Health Care, Margaret Muhanga, has implored Ugandans to embrace regular testing for non-communicable diseases as a way of living healthy lifestyles. Muhanga decries the public's increased appetite for junk food, which she says is sending Ugandans to the early graves.
Ndeva Church of Uganda Primary School in Kayunga district was the place to be on mid-morning Friday. This was no ordinary dance, but a celebration to mark World Self-Care Day. Children and adults participated in aerobics as one way of seeking physical fitness.
On taking the blood pressure at home, we encourage our parents to testing at home. We encourage them to exercise at home. We also encourage them to have healthy feeding for NCDs.
The message basically focused on living a healthy lifestyle.
When you wait for government to come and boil for you drinking water, you will not have it. Now you capture typhoid and cholera, endala that are related. So baba saba okudiwominga okola kubulamu bwo ensonga ezisookerwako. Everybody is jumping on the border, running here and there. Tambula kebi get it for at least 2 kilometers.
Love for junk food, including oily and fatty eats, was discouraged.
In the villages here, I know there are some people who have good matoke, sweet potatoes, cassava. They sell it and go to town to eat chips and chicken. Children, say no to chips and chicken. They are simply building diseases in your body. They have no health benefit.
In agreement with the Minister Muhanga was Dr. Charles Olaro, who called for more awareness against non-communicable diseases.
When you see greens, eat as much as you can. When you see fruits, eat as much as you can, because you build your body at this point, not later.
When we did the STEP study, we found that whereas 1 in 4 adults Ugandans have high blood pressure, 80% of them did not know about it, which means that the main issue is that people are moving with non-communicable diseases, but they are not aware about it. When you visit the Uganda Cancer Institute, we again also seeing the same scenario where most of the patients we are seeing, they are presenting late. So that's why we are trying to preach the gospel of aspect of self-care, so that the aspect of it is self-awareness.
Ailments such as high blood pressure, cancer and ulcers, among others, can be prevented if healthy lifestyles are adopted. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Legal professionals and the National Court judges have been encouraged to use the preliminary ruling mandate of the regional court to reduce case backlog. This was remarked by Dr. Henry Honoria, Director, Center for Public Interest Law, Uganda, at the official opening of a one-day training of legal professionals and judges from the East African community.
This is the second training of the legal professionals and National Court judges under the Center for Public Interest Law, Uganda Limited. During the engagement, judges were urged to interest themselves with the legal framework of the East African Court to foster integration as well as free movement of people and goods within the East African community.
And that's why we feel that it's important to have the national judges understand the East African community law in terms of what the framework is like, but also for them to understand that lawyers can actually bring matters before them involving the East African community. And they have power to decide on such matters, but if they feel that a particular matter requires an interpretation of the East African community law, including the treaty, they can then refer the matter to the regional court and ask for what they call a preliminary ruling.
Dr. Henry Honoria, the Director, Center for Public Interest Law, Uganda Limited, revealed that the court has been given the mandate to expand its jurisdiction to handle disputes that involve businesses and investments.
Now, if that mandate is given, then we are likely to see more people saying, but why should we go to Arusha when we can have the national courts file the matter before the national court and then see if the national courts can address them. Now, if the national courts feel that this they can't do, then they refer.
Christine Mutinura, the Deputy Registrar of the East African Court of Justice, noted that the training of the judges aims at enhancing cooperation between the regional courts and the national jurisdiction.
There are a number of cross-border matters that are handled by the national judiciaries, and many of them concern matters of the treaty. Now, we've come to the realization that not many judges are aware of the provisions of the treaty and the fact that they can seek a preliminary ruling on any treaty matter that is brought before them.
Meanwhile, Ugandan and Kenyan youth allegedly protesting against bad governance and rule of law have been advised to refrain from causing mayhem but seek legal redress in the East African Court of Justice.
Now, mourners of fallen former Secretary, Uganda National Examination Board, UNEB Matthew Bukenya, have gathered at Lubaga Cathedral to celebrate his life and achievements while in the education sector. The Requiem Mass was led by the Archbishop of Kampala, Paul Semogerere.
Early Friday morning, Lubaga Cathedral received the body of the late former Secretary of Uganda National Examinations Board, Matthew Bukenya, for a Requiem Mass. The service was led by the Archbishop of Kampala, Paul Semogerere, who encouraged all to emulate the late Bukenya's life.
Ekitongole ekyebenjigiriza atuweereza era ng'ekyo n'emikono nga gyonna miyonjo. Talanta ye ey'okuyigiriza Mukama gye yamuwa agikozesezza n'amaanyi ge gonna. Omukama tumusaba nga bwe tuwulidde mu Vvanjiri agambye nti weebale omuweereza omulungi.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, also joined others in celebrating the late Bukenya's illustrious career. His message was delivered by the Minister of Education in the office of Nabagereka, Nakate Chikomeko.
Okufa kwe kwalesewo eddibu ddene mu kisaawe ky'ebyenjigiriza wadde nga yali yawummula emirimu gye mu butongole. Yasigala akyebuuzibwako ensonga ez'enjawulo ezidda ku ludda lw'obukugu bwe.
In her message, the Vice President, Jessica Alupo, appreciated the late Bukenya's contributions to the growth of Uganda's education sector. Alupo was represented by UNEB Board Chairperson, Mary Okakwol.
His consistency, integrity, and dedication, our education sector registered tremendous progress in the effective administration of examinations.
UNEB Board Chairman Celestino Obua also added his voice in extending gratitude to the late and commending him for the changes he made during his stay at the center.
Setting up a modern printing press at Chambogo and starting off printing of examinations in-house. Previously we used to outsource the printing of examinations. Now we do it in-house. Contribution from Matthew Bukenya.
The children of the late Matthew Bukenya had this to say about their late father.
Arrested corruption with passion. When it came to the verification of education documents over ministers, no one would bribe him, though many tried without success, according to him. My father never spared officials with fake documents.
The late Bukenya Matthew passed away on Monday, 22nd July 2024 and will be buried Saturday, 27th July in Masaka. Lydia Chomkama and Stephen Kalisa, UBC News.
Now, the Kampala Capital City Authority has rescued and rehabilitated over 1,000 children from the streets of Kampala to Masulita Children's Home. 300 of these children are receiving education in Karamoja, while others have been reunited with their families.
In the financial year 2023-2024, Kampala Capital City Authority carried out several operations to get children off the streets of Kampala. That led to the arrest and prosecution of 40 individuals involved in child trafficking, contrary to the Child Protection Ordinance 2022. Over 1,000 children who were roaming the streets of Kampala were rescued and taken to Masulita Children's Home for rehabilitation.
We have a partnership with the key organizations like Uganda Women's Effort to Save Orphans, USO, Dwelling Places, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, to provide these children with the care and support they need to reintegrate into society. Notably, 308 of these children were enrolled in primary school back in Karamoja, where it's believed most of them came from, in Napak district.
These children often take advantage of traffic jam and strategic business areas to beg for money as a means of survival.
Sometimes people in the public who do not know, they want to give money to these street children to get their dirty hands off the car. But the public should know that there is a law. There is a law which is actually being implemented right now.
The Kampala Capital City Child Protection Ordinance 2022 criminalizes selling alcohol or drugs to children. The law also fouls children who loiter in public places. Violation of this leads to 6 months of imprisonment.
We have seen many people support these children in terms of material support, in terms of cash, in terms of health support. But the public should know that if you did that, you can be prosecuted following the law, and you can be charged in courts of law for 6 months until you prove yourself not guilty.
In line with the law, the Director of Gender and Community Services, Shiragandi Birungi, calls on the public to take interest in understanding the law to help reduce the number of street children in Kampala.
Sometimes people in the public who do not know, they want to give money to these street children to get their dirty hands off the car. But the public should know that there is a law. There is a law which is actually being implemented right now. the public should know that once we make these children comfortable on the streets, they will make us uncomfortable by staying and doing all that.
On the other hand, government has been urged to increase funding for community services in the city to enable KCCA's fight against the vice of bringing children to the streets.
Doesn't do everything, doesn't have funds to finance every community activity or community services. So we call upon every other stakeholder besides government, the implementing partners, the development partners rather, civil society institutions and organizations like the UN, like the different NGOs. Red Cross came on board to help us. They did an assessment and they are supporting us with a lot of materials for all of them to come on board, and we work together as one team to support the program of this country.
While efforts to protect vulnerable residents have been put in place, the strategies to rescue street children remain challenged by the increasing numbers. However, with the implementation of the Kampala Child Protection Ordinance 2022 and support from partners, the challenge will be addressed in the long run. Justin Nakami, UBC News, in Kampala.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde, nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere, weewaawo abafere gye bali, naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanya eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo 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 era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo, mwebale nnyo, mwebalire.
Together, we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their targets and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin, no more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Monday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Take 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream
Play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Welcome back. 41 minutes past 8 o'clock. As we continue, Deputy PDM National Coordinator Jovrin Chomuka-Makalisa has caused the arrest of 4 PDM officials in Aleper district for distributing PDM funds among their family members. Jovrin Chomuka-Makalisa was monitoring progress of PDM in Aleper district, where there have been rumors of gross mismanagement of the fund. The arrested include civil servants and the sub-county NRM chairperson of Apala Town Council. Locals also accused leaders for frustrating their efforts in trying to fight the graft in managing PDM funds.
He's saying his father's name was already in the system. So he died before receiving the money.
But why did you pay if the person had died?
All leaders of Apala Town Council and Parish of Central Ward and Bediwar Wards, all leaders from LC1 up to LC3 councillors, they received this money with their family members. Each household of the local leaders receive more than 5 million.
Should you ask for any coin? Please arrest and prosecute. That is a directive of the president.
We summon the circle leaders who are becoming a bit stubborn. They were already distorting money from our beneficiaries.
The challenge we have at PDM, it is a national program, but all responsibilities and offices of PDM was made to be at the parish level or at the ward level. So in case they have embarrassment in the account, town clerk is always not aware. Me as a mayor of the town council, I'm always not aware, and they have powers to do their things at their level within their parishes.
You're lying us.
Now, the National Agricultural Research Laboratories have been a game changer in the agricultural production value chain in the country through providing quality seeds and knowledge to farmers throughout the production chain. As we hear in this following report, agricultural producers and farmers who have used this research attest to its profitability.
It begins in the labs, where dedicated researchers work tirelessly to develop superior seed varieties designed to withstand challenges of the varying climatic conditions and soil, ensuring that every farmer has the best possible start.
Soil and water and fertility issues. We've tackled the issue of the fruit quality and value addition to these products.
Engoro Peter, a resident of Kalachi district, is a citrus producer who is yielding a great deal courtesy of Naro.
Our trees used to produce so many fruits, but very small. And we had a problem of marketing. But when Naro came in now, we found that our trees could really have a bulky production of trees. But because of value addition, fertility of the soil, the sizes increased and the quality became so beautiful and attracted our buyers.
Engoro says after getting quality citrus seedlings from NADS, the National Agricultural Research Laboratories took on the initiative to skill him on how he could yield more from his plantation.
At the course whereby Naro took initiative of training me in the production, the technologies they trained with me in was so much effective. One, that is making of trenches and basin, tree basins, purposely to harvest water.
But NAO's contribution doesn't stop at providing seeds. They offer comprehensive support throughout the entire production chain, from planting techniques to pest control and harvesting. NAO's knowledge and expertise are shared with farmers through workshops, training sessions, and on-site support.
We have enhanced the capacity of over 3,000 farmers who are now building the capacity of their colleagues. So this is something that is like really spreading like a wildfire. So TESO is really being taken over by citrus as a commercial enterprise, not just as a food crop or a fruit crop.
The impact of NAO's work is evident in the markets, where farmers bring their abundant and high-quality produce. This not only boosts their income, but also ensures the country's stability in food supply.
But from the beginning, we had a problem of marketing. We could produce and there was nobody to take the product. But it became opportunity that some Kenyans came in and they were looking for oranges, and that's when we took Kenya buyers as our market.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Mary. Now, Ministry of Water and Environment has launched a $9.5 million project in eastern Uganda to enhance community adaptation to climate change, with a call to government to have a substantive management plan in protecting wetlands. The project will also establish a fund to implement the presidential directive to evict wetland occupants with the aim of preserving environment.
Through the Ministry of Water and Environment, in collaboration with Water Aid Uganda, has launched a $9.5 million project dubbed to enhancing community adaptation to climate change through climate-resilient floods, early warning catchment management, and wash technologies. John Musira, the Mpologoma Water Catchment Zone chairperson, said wetlands across the country are encroached on, hence the need for government-led management plan to protect and preserve environment.
Breaking here and there won't help. We need a clear management plan, possibly warning the people, say giving them space, good space of time. If possible, also establishing a certain fund, like we have done with the land fund in Uganda. We could have that kind of fund around.
The project-specific objectives, among others, include strengthening institutional capacity, implementation and monitoring of integrated floods, early warning systems.
We are going to restore wetlands in this catchment. We are going to restore river banks. We are going to promote tree growing. That is the restoration of degraded areas through afforestation. We are going to construct climate-resilient water, sanitation and health and hygiene facilities.
The project, according to Engineer Maximo Tinomuhanji, the Choga Water Management Zone team leader, the project is set to establish a long-term measure on the causes of disasters in Bukedi, Bugisu, in parts of Busoga.
And when they occur, what are the potential areas that are likely to be affected by these floods? That if a flood happens, what are the likely property, infrastructure? We have to put in place flood early warning systems.
Let us continue to promote integrated water resources management, including underground water resources and contingency planning to extreme events such as floods and drought.
During the project launch in Bale City, the Minister of Water and Environment, Sam Cheptoris, expressed optimism that the project will address environmental degradation challenges.
And environmental degradation. This project is expected to make a big contribution in helping the people to cope with these challenges.
Yiga Mohammed compiled this report for UBC News.
Now, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, has assured livestock farmers the availability of food in mouth vaccine that's being distributed at different districts to end the quarantine slapped on animal transportation. State Minister for Animal Industry, Lieutenant Colonel retired Brigadier Ramirama, disclosed this during his visit at a pig and slaughter factory, Mbizi Products Limited, in Kiti, Matuga, Wakiso district.
Pig farming is practiced in all regions of Uganda and has remained a profitable venture to many households, unlike other key agricultural enterprises. There are several breeds, but the most common in Uganda are the Duroc, Hampshire, Landrace, large white, large black, among others. Pork consumption has been driven by population growth, urbanization, and increase in income levels. The State Minister for Animal and Industry, Bright Ramirama, was accompanied by State Minister for Rural Rwenzori Triangle, Alice Kaboyo, during the visit at Mbizi Products Limited in Chiti, Matuga, Wakiso district to assess pig farming for export. Mbizi Products Limited not only produces but equally pack pork to the world market. However, the company still faces challenges, as Joseph Otim, the production manager, asserts.
Currently, the main challenge we face as Mbizi product is the competition from other small slaughterhouses. However much we want to provide good and hygienic pork products to our community and to the Ugandans, we also face a challenge of some farmers who slaughter from the local slabs and still provide the pigs to the community.
Minister Ramirama appreciated the management for quality work, promising government support.
We are going to make sure that we increase the supply side and so that we can match the demand. It is also very significant that previously we used to import a lot of sausages and pork products from the neighboring country. But now, the export market, the records we have is that they have significantly gone down because of such a facilities like this one.
He also disclosed that scientists from Naro have made a stride in discovering swine fever vaccine, which remains a challenge to piggery farmers. Soon, it will be on market for use.
Unfortunately, swine fever has no vaccine, and that's why we put quarantine to make sure that swine fever does not spread because it is fatal. Fortunately enough, our scientists are on the tail end of getting a swine fever vaccine, and once it is done, that will be the end of the story of swine fever.
State Minister for Rural Rwenzori, Alice Kaboyo, highlighted the contribution of this facility in fighting unemployment among the youth.
It is employing our young people, and they are imparting knowledge on how to treat these animals. I'm really very happy today, and I'm happy that Honorable Ramirama found time to come and see for himself what is being done here in Wakiso. Many things are done here in Ruweru, but a lot of people don't believe that such facilities are there.
Andrew Sebira compiled this report for UBC News.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan? is our quest to invest in agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
We can do better.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Welcome back from that short break. As we delve into business, Bancassurance penetration remains low in Uganda 8 years after its official launch. The seamless blend of banking and insurance has set up strategies to attract a larger clientele, topped up with discussions at the inaugural Bancassurance Thought Leaders Forum in Kampala.
Uganda's bancassurance journey started in 2016 when two key players in the financial space forged partnerships allowing banks to sell insurance products to their customers. 8 years later, industry leaders in the country's insurance and banking sectors have come together to evaluate their progress.
And according to our records of the year 2023, 179.5 billion was the gross written premiums which was booked through Bancassurance.
Currently, there are about 400 bank branches across the country offering bancassurance services. These numbers are expected to grow exponentially in the coming years as the citizens understand insurance and the new products are developed.
So we're saying if we can wrap that better, understand the customer, you have all the information. Sell to him a meaningful proposition. Let them see meaning in it. Not that you are just coming to sell and meet your targets. Understand what my problem is, what my need is, what you need to cover me against. Use technology to reach me. Cover me 24/7. Very critical today we learned that when trouble actually comes into play, at the point of claiming, it should not be complex, complicated.
Operating models between banks and the insurer need to be adapted to a very fast-changing environment because that's the world we're living in. You know, things we can't afford to be set in our ways. Things are changing. We're living in a very Gen Z generation, and we have to be able to adapt as quickly.
David Mpanga, the keynote speaker at the inaugural Bancassurance Thought Leaders Forum, highlighted the challenges facing the insurance industry.
We're 0.8%. We're under 1% insurance penetration. But in fact, if you think about the bancassurance journey in Uganda and where we are in that journey, the challenge actually is the opportunity. The fact that we have not gotten to 5–10% insurance penetration when bancassurance is in its infancy is actually the opportunity. Here lies the opportunity to start doing something without having to deal with legacy issues, without having your hands tied because many people are already consuming insurance and they're used to getting it in certain channels, and you're now bringing.
As Uganda's bancassurance sector continues to evolve, the collaboration between the two financial entities promises to unlock new opportunities and enhance financial inclusion across the country.
And into the world of sports, with a week to the FUFA Super 8 tournament, the Crane Select side remains in a buoyant mood before encountering the best clubs in the land. The National Select Cranes team has for the week now been at Moob's grounds. Crane Select is composed of mainly local best players and free agents that are out of 7 participating clubs. Some foreign best players have also been included in the select squad competing against reigning champions SC, Villa, Bull FC, Vipers FC, Kitara FC, KCCA FC, Maroons FC and NEC FC. Uganda Cranes technical team keeps an eye on impressing players to break into senior teams for the 2025 AFCON qualifiers that starts in September. Well, thank you so much for choosing us. Once again, we are blessed for you allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Dorothy Namuyomba has been with us on sign language. Let's meet again at 10 o'clock. Stay with us.